Hey brothers, how you doing today? Just wanted to check in with you to share something with you. I have been getting responses from the Braveheart Men survey that I sent out earlier this week. Thank you guys so much for responding to that. I'm still taking responses, so I'll leave a link below for you to fill that survey out if you have not yet. Only takes 3 minutes and it's completely anonymous, but it's really been helpful. Wanted to point out to one of the things that you guys have been really hitting on. About half of you, like one of the questions is, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now in your marriage or in your romantic relationships? And about half of you so far are saying that one of your biggest challenges is that you're having too much conflict with your partner. Just generally speaking, too much conflict with your partner. So recognize that that may be something a lot of us are struggling with. So I wanted to just give you a quick tool that you can use to reduce the amount of conflict that you're having with your partner. Okay, so you might want to grab a pen for this. In fact, I'm going to use a pen as a kind of, I guess, a prop to use in this tool. This tool is called Forging an Alliance, and you may have heard that phrase before, but I want to tell you how it works with a romantic partner, and how you can use this as a way to reduce the level of tension, stress, arguing that you're having with your partner. So most of the time when there's conflict in a relationship, you can picture two people like just sitting facing one another or standing and facing one another, and they're in conflict, so we tend to look at one another and say the conflict is because of you. Like we're looking at the other person and saying you're the problem, right? Or they're looking at you and saying you're the problem. So what I want you to do is to use this tool to shift the focus from you're the problem or I'm the problem to the dynamic between us is the problem, okay? The relationship is the problem. And this is where the Alliance tool comes in. Because when we focus on one another, we tend to use blame and shame, defensive,ness, all kinds of stuff. But if instead we look at the dynamic between us, like what is happening in the space between us that we don't like, then we're able to actually renegotiate how we want to be with one another. So here's how that works. You sit down on the couch, you sit at the table, somewhere where you can just be quiet with each other for a while, not have a lot of interruptions, and you say, let's take this pen and make it represent our relationship, okay? So you agree to that. So there's you, there's me, and there's this relationship that we have created together, right? So you put the pen between you and your spouse or your significant other. Just lay it on the table, lay it on the couch. And then you ask a couple of questions. Here they are. First question is, what do you love about the dynamic between us? What do you love about the relationship itself? Not about me or about you, but about the relationship itself, right? So you need to answer that question too, and spend some time saying, what do you love about the connection you have? What do you love about the dynamic between you? What do you love about the way this works, right? Between you and me, and use the pen as a way to kind of focus it out, right? Share that for a while. Get clear about what you love about the dynamic between the two of you. And then ask the second question, what do you want more of in the dynamic between us? What do you want more of in the way we interact, right? In the space between us, in our relationship itself. And you can say yourself what you want, invite your spouse or your partner to say what they want, take some notes on that. Then ask the third question is, what do you want less of? What do you want less of in the relationship? And write that stuff down too, right? So it's what do you love, what do you want more of, and what do you want less of? So you're not talking about the other person. You're not talking about yourself, you're talking about the dynamic. So if, say, your spouse or your partner says to you, what do I want less of? I want you to be less bossy. That's not the right, you're talking about the other person. So just frame it in terms of the relationship. I want less contention in the relationship. I want less controlling behaviors in the relationship, right? That's what you're asking for, because it's got to go both ways, right? So then once you answer those 3 questions, then come up with some agreements that you can make together that would help you together to create that dynamic. And it can be anything from like, we're going to agree to just take a breath before we say something, right? Just think about it for just a half a second rather than react to one another. That might be one. Or we're going to agree to compliment each other at least twice a day. Just say something that we like about what the other person is doing or anything like that. Those kinds of things. So start small, don't do anything huge. Just start small and build some success momentum with that, right? The key to this is to begin to think of what you guys have together as something you're co-creating. You're co-creating a dynamic that you're both contributing to. And anytime we start pointing fingers at one another and saying, you're the reason, you're the cause, you're the problem, not only is it just sort of heaping blame and shame on one party in the relationship, but it's also disempowering the one who's saying it. Like they become a victim. Like, I'm at the mercy of your behavior. And that's not actually, in most cases, that's not actually what's happening. And I'm assuming a basic healthy relationship, right? That it's the dynamic is generally healthy. There's some things that are unhealthy about it, maybe, and you can work on that as a dynamic that you want more of or less of in the relationship, rather than focusing on what one person or the other person is doing. Right? So there's the idea. That's the tip. It's called alliance. It's about making agreements together about how you want the dynamic to be. All you need is a pen, 3 questions, and open curiosity, right? With each other. So give that a go with your spouse or partner this week and see if you can turn down some of the stress, some of the levels of conflict intensity that you have in your relationship. Hope that's helpful for you. Hope you have a great week, and we'll be talking to you soon.